thought it would be fun to put the camera on today and show you one of the pages from my new kind of an A5 warm weather album, if you like, that I've just begun. And I'm showing you some of the possible papers, including a background that I'd sort of inked, that I think is a Heidi Swap, and a couple of jelly plate trials, and then the Sue's Fish papers there, which are gorgeous, from her Etsy shop, and the cutter parts that I've already gone ahead, as you'll see in this tray here, and selected for my layout. And then there's one from Tiffany Julia, a little journaling card. It's about the second to last one I have left from her lovely Hello Happy mini collection that she gave away as a freebie last year, that I'm going to use because it's got Sweet Shop on it and the theme is kind of sweets. And then some really ancient fibres by Basic Grey, and the photo op, which will be my title, is by Bramble Fox. My mum gave me these lovely little pins ages ago, so I thought I'd use the blue and the kind of pearl one to mimic marshmallows. And then I've treated myself to that beautiful Happy Blooms collection from Pink Fresh, which I've decided I will incorporate as well. I haven't bought any of the papers because I've got so many papers. I'm not going to run out, and I'm sure I'll make something work. Right, that was one of the pages I created. It's a bit of a joke. My husband said, "Why don't you scrapbook about those slippers you bought?" And I thought, you know what, I'm just going to cut the edge of the box and make a page. So that was me getting going, and my aim here is to use up some of these perspectives by Bramble Fox. So that one, of course, is called Fabulous. And on the back of that is a textured piece that I made out of some kind of woolen textured Sizzix dye. And it's just going to form the back of the left-hand page of my new double spread. Now, I want to align these holes, of course, and the ones already on there are a little bit wonky. I've been having a bit of a job with getting 6 holes on a page to fit, but you'll see I'm just going to cut those out, hope for the best this time, and align them to my album, and good job they fit. So as I say, I kind of pre-inked that page ages ago, probably last year, had it lying around, and I put some splatters on there with some of my inks. I can't remember which one. Selected that camper van paper by Sue's Fish, so cute. This isn't a camper van image, but it brings up those kind of the idea of being on a camping holiday. We're actually in our friend's back garden there, so that's my boys along with their 2 boys, and they're all toasting marshmallows on the dying embers of the barbecue, which is really sweet, and they went all lovely and gooey inside. And that was after they'd been in their great big paddling pool earlier that afternoon, which they've just put up for this year, for the 3rd year running. And when they all just get in there, they have such a whale of a time. I really love it, and it's such a home from home for us adults as well. We love to just sort of hang out. And there we are, so just layering up lightly with some tissue paper, which is slightly textured as well. I think it might be from Molten Brown or something like that. I never chuck away white tissue paper, I always find a use, and then I go frugally with it and use every single last scrap, even if it means having to fold it over and glue it down. So yeah, here we are, gluing away with my multiple adhesives, and deciding last minute, even having applied the glue, that I'd like a bit of dimension, so sticking on the old adhesive foam, which I've it seems a little bit cack-handed the way I've done this, so I've taken off the backing but put the non-adhesive side on against the glue so that the backing can go against the layers there, and I've just tapped it down with the inside of my t-shirt, as you do, to stop it smudging on this photo. Well, that's my logic anyway. Okay, and I bought some papers, some digital papers from Etsy a while back, so this is a lovely kind of bouquet starry one that I thought would work quite well here. I really love that. I can't tell you who the designer is offhand either, so off the top of my head, so we'll leave it as that it looks really pretty. And thank you to the designer, whoever you were. Thought I'd go with a tip-in, but like a bit of an inverted tip-in, which I don't usually do, against the binder rings rather than on the outside flap, just so that I can have an overhang on the outside of my page. So this is the effort I have towards putting that together, and I like to reinforce it not just with the ATG adhesive. I also like to use a bit of wet glue, but of course I've got myself in trouble here trying to line it all up. And then this is all about having the camera above my head. Normally my head would be right over that to align it, and of course I've stood back and got it all wrong, but it's alright. I managed to lift that back and salvage it, but in the meantime the glue seems to have come off and dried. No worries, reinforce that. And I'm thinking of ways now how to adhere the tip in, as it were. So I'm going to use the dolly mixture paper. Lovely and sweet, perfect for the theme. But it's just going to hide underneath the boys there. I thought about whether I should stick it out of the edges, but I'm going to actually completely hide it. And part of my thinking there is that I can put any colour with boys, I don't mind if they have pink with them, but on this one I wanted a kind of cool, I don't know, the look I was going for was much bluer hues, and I thought the pink was warming it up a little bit too much. So you'll see what I mean when I begin on the other side of the page. But I really did want to incorporate the dolly mixtures, and I've thought about where can I put that tag, which I have decided can slip in the back. So I'm going to make a little pocket for it using some of my red line tape and lining that somewhat and leaving a bit of a gap around the edges, but just low enough that the tag will stop against the tape there. Now what's about to happen, I believe, is that my camera footage cuts really abruptly. So you'll see where I adhere it down and then magically some elements appear around the edge. And there's nothing I can do about that except for walk you through them when it happens. But for just now, there we are. I decided just a little bit lower than central. I don't really want it to be perfectly in the middle. And then I thought, oh no, when I picked it up to look at it, it's slightly squint. This is the perfectionist. I'm continually battling with my inner perfectionist. And the most ironic thing I could do to combat that is to make it look like a rough edge that I always intended. So I'm just going up the side there with the scissors and then deliberately ruffling up all of the edges. It doesn't particularly matter that it went on like 1 degree squint, you know what I mean? But I'm quite happy with that. And there we are, look. The flowers that I cut apart from Susie's page, as well as that little gate and the pins and the tab at the top, are all in place now. And of course the ribbon, which is from the basic grey, not ribbons, what were they called? You know what I'm talking about. And so now again the camera's about to cut, there we are. So I've decided on the left hand page a little bit of some of the elements, including my the jelly plate kind of roll-offs. And then I thought, why don't I use this new Christmas die I've just bought from Bramble Fox at the same time as I bought the perspectives and make a summer lights kind of banner. So that's what I'm showing you there. And the paper, it's like a sticky back iridescent paper, which is gorgeous, but it's really flimsy and it actually breaks on me. So you'll see me having a bit of a job putting it all down, but I think it doesn't matter that it's broken because it's iridescent. It sort of shows in many colours at once. You can't see the breaks, if that makes sense. And I'm just making it kind of go on the page loosely over the edge. And that's that kind of glow that I was wanting to capture on the page a little bit. Not too pinky, not too sweetsy, but like the sun just glinting off things and looking watery and cool. So I decided to go with another one of those basic grey, fibres, that's the word, and just make it kind of almost like it's out of focus because it's all these different colours of thread and it looks whimsical. Love those. The ones on the tag are not my favourite, but I thought because I've got the dark blue navy splatters, it would work. Good enough. So, and I want to use these things up, so I decided to just roll with it. And that's a die cut there in a kind of, closed frame, like one chunk of die cut. My mum so kindly lent me all of her die cuts so that I asked her for some lace die cuts, and she said, look, why don't you just take the lot on a long-term loan, and that was in her collection. So I thought, well, okay, let's put that on my page as well. And of course I go with the glossy accents, which is a pig to try and unblock every time, and I just start going and I realise the perspectives itself is covered in plastic backing, so I had to take that off, start again, get that all over, so that my theory there is that if you have it everywhere it doesn't show through as little blobs of glue, and that's worked, so that's beautiful. I just thought that would be best aligned with the photo on the right as well, so kind of in a horizontal idea there. And there was just that one little piece of dolly mixture that I cut that I hadn't assembled anywhere, so I decided it would look best right there behind the faux marshmallow pins. And there we are, opening my fresh packet of puffy stickers to pull out the one that says sweet. And then I wondered if I could use any more, and I noticed there's a little bee, and I do love a bee, and I'm toying with the fruit on the bottom of that square there, humming and eyeing, showcasing them all. I saw a little sprig I thought might look good between the flowers, so I pop that in there. And finally a butterfly just to set it all off. Great. And the last element I had snipped out was that camper van, and I'd forgotten about it, and I thought, oh gosh, it's quite a big element, where am I going to fit that? And I slipped it behind there, and it has kind of skewed that square, so it no longer is a square visually, but it's such a light element that it kind of recedes in the background, and I didn't mind that at all. And right behind the butterfly there, I thought it looked quite cute. And anyway, I quite like asymmetry, so as well that fits with my aesthetic quite well. So now I wanted to work on the inside of this tip-in, and I've got a really old roller stamp there that I've been going with, and selecting the date, which was just this past weekend. Find the right blue and stamp it once and stamp it off. And I'm just going to shoot from the hip with this journaling. It's not the greatest pen, but it's a nice light blue, and the lovely thing about biro is that it doesn't smudge like so many other pens of mine. So just going with some journaling there about the experience there, what I love about, I think, well, the question on the front of that tag, or the statement is, it's all a gift, which it is, isn't it? And then I thought, well, what's all a gift? So I wrote on the back elements of that day that I found were a gift, and that includes things like your beautiful smiley faces, the ease of your company, and how you really embrace boyhood together, that you are such good friends, and your massive paddling pool. And then on the other side, I've done some journaling about this family and their home, and the fact of it feeling like a holiday home when we go over there. Found some really old alphas. Again, I'm on a mission excuse me, to use these up. So I thought just a mini title would do it, BBQ Plus. in the navy. I think they're from Simple Stories. And then I just made a plus and realised again my perfectionist eyeballs got in the way, and I thought, no, they need to be a bit more rounded, they look snipped. So I just curled them round, as if anyone would ever notice, you know. But to me, that now feels perfect. And I thought I'll use up one of those stickers on the bottom that says like with a thumbs up. And that completes that. So I think the last thing to do is just to pop some holes, reinforcements down the edge, and it's going to cut out and you'll see the pictures in close-up. Enjoy!